Alright, so real talk. For people that is like me, right? I struggle with pretty much everything. Mostly nutrition, diet, and just self discipline. There's things I always want, and then in the lifespan of being being strong as I ever will be, there's certain consequences that I take when I'm on this road to being the best that I can be. Ice cream, fast food because I don't feel like cooking. Certain times doing mobility and thinking ahead of my goals, and then shorten those long-term goals into smaller goals. What can I help to be a better, more explosive type of athlete? What can I do to be better overall? What am I lacking of? And sometimes I can't get a wrap around unless I ask for help. And sometimes I'm scared because of my pride that I don't want to ask for help. So I try to push myself to learn things, to be better throughout. I wouldn't know what I'd be like, what my shit. My form is messing. Lack of lat retraction, certain type of placements in my feet for bench press, or sometimes working on strengthening certain types of muscle groups because I don't see the weakness until I record myself or to someone actually sees it and then pretty much, calls it out, right? And I don't think about that. Sometimes I get in my own head because I want to be the best, and then once I don't succeed, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I would have quit. I see people so many times on social media, even from being 16-year-old, being better than me, being more stronger than me, and I just want to quit. And then I have people like, you're strong as hell, and it's like the most problem that I have is listening to people and looking at myself negatively. Most of the time, I can't really think of a positive thing to actually tell myself that I can do this. That I like, even looking at myself, I still see a little gut, and I'm like, I just want to quit. And then afterwards, a few minutes, 10 minutes, thinking of not even what I accomplished, but how many people are ahead of me. I want to beat them so bad that I just go back to like whatever I want. I think about that. From even the most dumbest thing, the long term goal, even the most outrageous like goal of all time, lifting this amount of weight, being able to dunk sometimes, like just outrageous type of goals that I can't even do. And sometimes they help me progress of what I'm doing currently because of that that motivation that I put into just thinking of random things that I can do if I can practice more, if I put my efforts in. And then it comes to being better at working on my program, working on more of my nutrition, smaller things that I don't even think about until I actually put in more thought into it. More mobility. Sometimes being the strongest doesn't come from always putting yourself into the most stress that you can put yourself into. Heavy weight, running a lot. Sometimes it comes from smaller things like what do you eat, and how long do you stretch? How many times do you stretch? How many times do you do mobility work? How many times do you feel good? Do you feel bad? What can you make yourself better at? And that's the question for everybody that honestly wants to be better at fitness, at anything. God damn, that's loud. At anything you can think of, if you feel like that you're lacking of and it just blows your mind of how many times you have thought about this, how many times you have struggled with many things. Just think about what you can do little by little. And then sometimes even doing the most little by a week to a month, sometimes that just it's just it's just out of your mind or just back of your mind in general. It's gone. You don't think about it anymore because that progression can build up to just little by little to bigger results, to all around just a complete difference. So that comes from fitness, that comes from, moving to a job or being better at a job or being better at life. Think about the smaller things that can possibly, even with a second thought, if you think about it more thoroughly, you can see it as right in front of your face. So I think as people right now, because we're struggling because of what's going on, we need to take our time, even for 10 minutes, to think what we can do to better ourselves. And that's what I struggle with. I want to better myself, and then I go to something else. Sometimes it's mostly self-discipline. Self-discipline is what I lack, and little by little, I'll be stronger and I'll be a better person.